welcome back to the shorts editing game. So first thing we did was started with a loop, which I really love. I'll show you kind of the whole video and where we're at. So first thing is the loop. All right, multi-cam footage. This is going to be a quick tutorial on how you can switch between cameras effortlessly. We'll start by importing our clips, right? So we zoom in from Resolve into multi-cam footage. This is gonna be also, this is terrifying. I need to figure out how to fix that. Let's do that first. What the heck? This is it.
I was recently working in Davinci Resolve on my Mac with some iPhone footage, and I found that my original iPhone footage had great colors, but when I was looking at it in Davinci Resolve or exporting a project, the results were incredibly washed out and desaturated. So after a lot of trial and error with different solutions I found online, I finally came across a couple of fixes that resolve the problem. And scrolling down in these notes, I have the output of those two fixes. So in fix number one, it's a matter of changing the color profile on your export. So this is going to globally fix your video. And you can see this produces the best results when we compare it with the original footage. In fix number two, we're going to do a clip-by-clip fix of the color. And in my opinion, this isn't quite as good as the original footage or fix number one, but for me, it's satisfactory enough. And this is the fix I go with if I'm dealing with a project that has a mixed source of clips. Let's say some of it comes from an iPhone and some of it's coming from some other source where I need to fix just the iPhone footage. Fix number two is what I'm going to go with there. If it's all coming from the same iPhone and I'm globally having the problem, fix number one is going to be the best approach and it's going to give the best results. So in terms of the structure of this video, I will include time codes with both of those fixes so you can jump ahead if you want. Before you do that though, there is one setting change that everyone should make. So let's switch over to Davinci Resolve, and we want to go into our global program settings. So on the top left, I'll click Davinci Resolve and go to Preferences, and then within here I'm going to go to General, and then I want to make sure that Use Mac Display Color Profiles for Viewers is
Okay, so settings, general. Resolve 19.
You've shot some footage on your iPhone, and it looks fine on your phone, and it looks fine when you play it back on your Mac. But the minute you go to edit it in DaVinci, it looks bad. Now, there are a few ways to fix it, and I'm going to show you the quick way. In fact, I'm going to show you in less than a minute. First, I come to this URL, and then I download the Filmic Look Pack. When it's downloaded, I open the folder. I double-click on the zip file to unpack it. I open up DaVinci Resolve, then down here, bottom right-hand side, I'll click the little gear icon, and then under Color Management, making sure that's selected, I'll come down to Open Look Folder. That will open the look folder. Then the file I've just unpacked that I've just downloaded, I'll drag that across and drop that in there. Now I won't drop that in there because, as you can see, I've already got it in there already. So when you drop that in there, you'll close that, and then what you want to do is cancel there, and then you want to restart Davinci Resolve. So I'll quit it and restart it. So I've got my iPhone footage here looking all washed out. What I need to do, come down here to the color tab, I'll just select that. Then make sure up here that the LUTs tab is selected. If it's not, just select it. Then come down to Filmic Pro. That's the LUT that we've just downloaded, we've just updated in the LUTs folder. Come down to 10-bit SDR. Then in this panel here, you'll have Filmic DHLG V3. What we want to do, double click on that. There we go. That's now fixed. That's all there is to it. I'll just jump back.
Ah, that kind of sucks though.
Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to fix HDR footage and get it working on an SDR timeline. So HDR is a setting which is available on say something like an iPhone, which is the footage I've got here. And if you try to import this into an SDR timeline on DaVinci Resolve, it's going to look really washed out. So these colors don't really look very good to me. They're very pale, very overexposed and washed out. And that's because I'm trying to make this into an SDR video. So I've got lots of clips here which are a mixture of SDR, HDR and other cameras. And I kind of want to have this footage, but I don't want it to be this kind of white overblown and pale footage. I want the colors to look correct as if I filmed it on HDR. And there are a couple ways to do this. You can do it on a project basis, you can do this on a timeline basis. I'm going to show you how to do this on a clip by clip basis. So it's going to make it easier to manage, especially if you've got multiple kinds of footage here. And you can kind of see here the result that we want to get is this one here on the right where it's a lot more natural. Here on the left, the HDR is all washed out on the SDR timeline. On the right here, this SDR side is looking a hell of a lot better. So that's what we're going to go ahead and try to achieve today. So to do this pretty straightforward, what we're going to do is to select our clip, and then we're going to go to the OpenFX filter here, and then we're going to go ahead and search for space color transform. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop this into our clip. So once that effect is inserted here, we can go to the inspector and click on effects, and then we're going to have this color space transform available here. So under input color space, we don't need timeline settings. We want to select Rec 2020, and then input gamma, we want to go ahead and select Rec 2100 HLG. So select this one. Already you can see this is looking a lot more natural. Output color space, we want to scroll down here, Rec 709 says SDR, and output gamma, we want to use gamma 2.4. So these
me see. It's got to be in master settings, right? Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that option. So I guess we'll just do this for now.
Are settings that I pulled.
Okay, so let's go to effects. Color space transform. Multi-cam foot. That looks so terrifying. Rec 2020. 2100 HGL. Rec 709. Gamma 2.4. $61.22.
From this Black Magic forum. So this is quite interesting. So I'll leave a link to this one place in the description. You can play around with the output camera as well. So for example, 2.4 is a little bit bright, 2.2 is a little bit less. You can also just turn it off and that might look slightly better actually, to be honest. Not changing the output camera too much on this.
No, definitely need 2.2. All right, multi-cam footage. That looks terrifying. Multi-cam footage. This is going to be a quick tutorial on how you can switch between Okay, I don't know what it is, but multi-cam footage. This is going to be a quick tutorial on how you can switch between cameras effortlessly. We'll start by I guess it's fine for now.
Click, click, click. That's basically looking a lot better now.
709.
So in this episode, I want to talk about I/O devices. I'm going to explain what an I/O device is. I'm going to explain which software it works with. I'm going to explain why you need to have one first. You actually have to have an I/O device, and I'm using tips and tricks and stuff like that. So basically, I/O stands for input output. So it's a way of getting video and audio signal into your computer and out of your computer again. But really, it's down to quality, and I'll come to that in a moment. So there are literally tons of I/O devices available depending on your budget, whether you want HD, 4K, and depending how much connectivity you actually want and different types of connections you want. So we're going to look at the design range because they're the only ones that are supported with Davinci Resolve. You can't use an HD card, for example, or a micro card. It has to be a Davinci design card to work with Davinci Resolve. However, those cards will also work with other products. So you can go with Final Pro, the Premiere, the After Effects. There's literally tons of different software that Davinci design I/O cards also work with. So let's look at the range. You've got the cards or the boxes. The cards are the decklink range. They're literally a PCI Express card that's inside your computer, and all the connections are literally on the back of the card. Or you go down the Ultra Studio route, which is the external boxes. So they start off at this size. It's not actually an I/O box converter, but this is the sort of size that you're looking at. You have a little Thunderbolt 3 connection on the back connected to your laptop or computer, and on the other side you have a single cable, a single connector, which would be say, HDMI or SDI in or out. So these are really tiny boxes that bring literally 100 quid. So it's a really good entry level way in to having your own I/O device. The next range up is the Ultra Studio HD Mini, and then there's the Ultra Studio 4K Mini, which is this one. So this is one we use on set and for sort of portability for a laptop. This one pretty nice and light, and we've got a fair bit of connectivity on the back. So we've got SDI in and out, HDMI in and out, analog audio connects to.
Nobody asked. Color space tag PC. Okay, this person. Set up the Resolve color manager in the project settings. Let me also see if my recording app can use an MP4. Let me see if I go into the settings here. Is that the video codec or let me see. I mean, the colors look fine here. All right, multi-cam. Project settings, color management. Okay, so let's go ahead and implement this. Settings, color management. Let me see. HDR. $400 enable. This is going to be a quick tutorial on how you can switch between. Let's see if that fixes it. All right, multi-cam foot. No, didn't do anything. Okay, so we are just struggling. Actually, let's cancel. Let's restart this. Oh, it's not loading. All right, multi-cam. No, so that did nothing. Dang it. Okay. All right, multi-cam footage is going to be on how you can switch between cameras effortlessly. We'll start by multi-cam footage is going to be. That looks bad too. Dang it. How is there not just something you can do? Is all of my old iPhone footage like that? Let me see. Oh. Here we go. Okay. All right. Let's look at one of the finished projects like TikTok. Some of this at least should be iPhone. Like, is this iPhone? So I just realized something that has totally transformed the way I think about my TikTok channel. Let's see. Switch between cameras effortlessly. We'll start by importing our clips. We're going to link those together. MP4. Oh, you know why? Oh, this is so frustrating. Yes, there's a video from a guy on YouTube explaining it step by step. Great, what's the link? Okay, I just need to find a video and follow it.
Today I'm actually filming on the brand new Blackmagic camera app because I want to show you how to work with HDR footage in Davinci Resolve. Have you ever had it come in and it looks all green and blown out? Well, I got a trick to use a color space transform with the correct settings, so let's get into it. So my footage here from the Blackmagic camera, which you can see if I open up the metadata tab here in Davinci Resolve 18.6, it shows from the Blackmagic cam. You don't actually know what color space this is in. Well, it's going to be Rec 2020. So Rec 2020 is a good thing to know. If it was shot with HDR turned on an iPhone, that's what it is. So if we go to the color page with Shift 6 to get there, we're going to be looking under the effects area for color space transform to correct this to Rec 709. Because that's what the rest of my project is. That's what most of the world is going to want to look at. That's what YouTube wants. So what we're going to do is we're going to change our input color space here from, instead of being the timeline color space, we're changing this to, you guessed it, Rec 2020. And just like that, you can see the color is starting to pop in there, right? The other thing we need to change is the input gamma. And every resource I found online pretty much has this incorrect. And what you want to have for your input gamma is HLG, Rec 2100 HLG scene. So the big difference here between scene and not scene is the not scene version is not going to have as much saturation and it's going to be darker. This one is actually made for output. If you're going to make an HLG deliverable, or you want it to look like that on your display. It's a display referred one, where the scene one is scene referred. It's about your camera space, okay? So that's the one you want to choose. Now, you might say this looks a little dark. Well, it's underexposed for sure. And I was just trying to protect, highlights on my cheeks and stuff like that. So the easiest fix for that is to apply a serial node right before it and adjust the offset. So with this select, I'm going to hit Shift S. That loads a serial node right before it. And with doing this, I'm going to go to the offset controls and just increase the offset until I got an image that I like the way that it looks. When I'm looking at like my Flanders reference display, something that is calibrated, or to be honest, if this looks good to your eye, I'm happy with that too. Hey, quick time out. I want to let you know that the audio you're hearing right now is being recorded directly into the phone. Like, there's no syncing afterwards. And that's because you can actually use any old USB, powered hub, to power a USB interface, like you maybe already have, like this is a cheap $50 Behringer, to plug in your favorite XLR microphone. For me, it's the Earthworks Ethos that I love right here. All you have to do is just plug that in with a USB adapter to your phone. If you have an older one like I do, it's the Lightning port, but the new one, I guess, has USB-C. So just know that audio is really important, and you can get great audio recorded directly into the Blackmagic camera app. Now, to copy and paste this to the other clips, that's actually a really simple operation. If you're not used to doing this on the color page, you can just Shift select these clips right here, and then middle mouse click. That's a special thing about Resolve. The middle mouse click, the one that has the correction, and you're all done. The other way to deal with HDR iPhone footage is actually not to use the color page at all. So if I disable these grades by hitting Command D, and we go to our project settings down in the lower right, this little coggle will get us there, we can go into color management for the whole project. So if we turn on color management by going to color science, Davinci YRGB color managed, and hitting save, we have good looking footage. Hey, if you want anything new about Davinci Resolve today, click the video that's on screen, and because there's so much more to learn, I'll see you in the next video. Davinci Resolve today, click the video that's save. We have Davinci YRGB color managed, and hitting save.
Oh my gosh. All right, multi-cam footage. No, it's literally the same. Multi-cam footage is gonna multi-cam I don't know, it's like way too bright and footage is gonna be a multi-cam.
today I'm actually filming. Now, to copy and paste this to the other clips, you're all done.
The other way to deal with HDR iPhone footage is actually not to use the color page at all. So if I disable these grades by hitting Command D, and we go to our project settings down in the lower right, this little cog will get us there, we can go into color management for the whole project. So if we turn on color management by going to color science, Davinci YRGB color managed, and hitting save,
Multi-cam footage. Multi-cam footage is gonna be a quick. Why is it so like ridiculous? Why is it so bad in Resolve? But then, like, literally, if I play this, Resolve. iPhone footage and Resolve.
So the iPhone 12 Pro has some amazing video capabilities, such as shooting in 4K at 60 frames per second in the HDR profile, shooting 10-bit, which means there's a ton of color information. It looks great on your phone, it looks great on social media. But then what happens when you want to import it into DaVinci Resolve and start to make a video with it? Well, if you're watching this video, maybe you've already tried it and you realize there may be a few hiccups along the way trying to get the footage to look how it did on the phone. Now, I read online and there's a lot of people having problems with this. And I also personally spoke to the senior advisors at the head of the video department at Apple. What I took away from it was the correct input color space and input gamma, which is super important. But once I found out those details, it wasn't really enough to get the image to where I wanted. And it actually turns out it only comes down to a few adjustments to get the image to look amazing. And by the way, if anybody's watching this and they have any type of workflow that works better for them, or if they have any input, feel free to drop a comment, let me know, help out the community. That would be awesome. All right, without further ado, let's get started. So as you can see, if I just play this movie file, then this is what it looks like. But if I drag it into DaVinci Resolve, the clip looks really washed out and the colors just are not saturated enough, and it looks like a really terrible image, to be honest. So in order to get a great looking image, what we want to do is come up here to our nodes and add a few serial nodes. So I'm just going to add 3. On our middle node here, I'm going to come over here to the open effects and scroll down to color space transform. Then you want to drag that CST on the middle node. Then up here on the right hand side under the color space transform drop down options, what we want to do is click on the input color space, push R on our keyboard, and scroll down until you see Rec 2020. That is the input color space of this footage. Next, what you want to do is come down to the input gamma, click on the drop down option, and scroll down until you see Rec 2100 HLG. Then come down to the gamut mapping method, click on that drop down arrow and select saturation compression.
Okay. Where was that saturation compression thing?
So you see Rec 2100 HLG. Then come down to the gamut mapping method, click on that drop down arrow and select saturation compression. Now, obviously, this still looks almost even more washed out than before, but there's a little bit more saturation and contrast. So now this is where I personally found out if you come to this first node, come down to the curves and select the curves, and then what you'll want to do is pull this down and make your basic adjustments. Now, what I have found is if you pull the curve down right about like that creates an amazing looking image. And the reason I know this is because I compared this to SDR footage of the exact same clip. Then what you'll want to do is add a little bit of saturation. I'm going to just crank it up to about 58. Maybe add a little bit of color boost. I'm going to come over here and look at our vector scope. The greens are a little saturated, so I can make some secondary adjustments here with the hue, saturation, and luminance curves. But for this example, what I want to do is show you guys what this looks like compared to an SDR clip. So in case you guys didn't know this, but on Mac, if you come into the folder where your iPhone footage is and you right click on it, scroll down to the bottom where it says encode selected video files. Let's go ahead and click on that, and it will pop up with an option of some different settings that you can encode this file as. So for example, I'm just going to select H.264 2160p. Then I'm going to click continue. It takes about a few seconds for this to encode, and then what you'll do is you'll see this pop up in the folder, and then briefly it just takes time. And then what you'll see is a little duplicate with the number 1 next to it. So what you'll want to do is come back into our timeline. Let's go ahead and drag that encoded media file into our timeline. The only downside about doing that encoding is that when you encode it, it creates an 8-bit file, so you're not working with 10-bit anymore. This original clip here is our 10-bit file. So if I click back and forth at these two, you can see how identical they are. The shadows are a little bit deeper on the HDR clip, which you can simply change with the curves. But as you can see here, I'm going to jump into our color tab, and I'm going to show you guys the difference on our waveforms here. So you can see the shadows are kind of crushed a little bit here. So I can just bring this up. And if I jump back and forth between these two, you can see you yield very similar results. And I'll show you on the vector scope what it looks like when you bring in the SDR clip and the HDR clip. Very similar. So the only difference between these two, though, is that you're working with a 10-bit file. So there's a little bit more room for adjustment. There's a little bit more color information. One thing I noticed, though, when I was pixel peeping, is that if I zoom in really far up into detail and show you guys maybe just like some edges here, you'll see some artifacts on the ridge here. It's kind of weird and funky. Then when you jump over to the SDR clip, it looks a little bit more compressed and it looks a little bit more clean, but maybe just not as sharp. So now that's the regular clip like that. You can see the artifacts here. Then I click back to the SDR clip. It looks a little bit smoother. So this is going to be kind of a toss up for you guys. It looks like there's a little bit more detail, and I'm really zooming in on this. But if you guys look closely, you can see the difference between the two. Hopefully, YouTube compression isn't complete shit, so you can see what the difference is. Now, in case you guys are wondering if you need to make any adjustments to the HDR clip, I like to work underneath the CST in a lot of cases. So what you can do is just do your main primaries on this first node. So like I showed you, the saturation, the color.
Okay, so what I need to do is go to, let's just take this. Go here. How did he do that?
If you come into the folder where your iPhone footage is and you right click on it, scroll down to the bottom where it says encode selected video files. Let's go ahead.
So that's only a Mac option. Yeah, gosh, this sucks. Man, oh, that makes me so mad. I have no idea what to do with that. Like, everyone's fixing a different problem. Okay, here we go. All right, multi-cam footage. This is going to be a quick. So it's an iPhone issue. Let me see. I just realized I totally forgot to open my studio. Okay, cool. Nobody's like.
What's up, guys? It's Riley G. Today I'm going to show you guys something that I just learned. I couldn't find a forum online about it, and it was just driving me nuts. I recently got a Mac Mini, and for some reason, when I downloaded Davinci Resolve and I was putting my files into Davinci, I like to shoot in HDR on my iPhone, especially when I go out and do shoots. The